Today I have Rowyn Adelaide back to talk about her second book of Blooming Embers. If you watched the first episode, which you should have, we talk about this very cool dream world that she's created and a very cool concept where these citizens have to go into a dormancy and they enter this like dream world for half of the year. Anyways, the second book is obviously a continuation of their journey. More information is given to us as readers. The chessboard is being set. And the double cliffhanger at the end? Oh my goodness. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Welcome to Busy Reading Romantasy, a video podcast that discusses books that merge elements of romance and fantasy while occasionally exploring other genres. We get to escape our world and dive deep into themes of good versus evil, power dynamics, and all of the delicious taboo topics. Curiosity and open-mindedness are a must. That being said, this is a podcast for mature audiences only and will contain spoilers. Your mental health matters, so be sure to check the trigger warnings of each book to decide if this is the right episode for you to listen to. Now, let's get into today's episode. The more I've been able to just be myself and just bring up random stuff and just like keep it going, I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. It's like
I feel that to my bones. Sometimes I'm like, I don't like rewatching like interviews or listening. I do initially, but I don't do it again because I'm like, did I say that? Like you sound so dumb. Like
I've noticed I do that with questions. My questions are like a paragraph long and I'm like, just spit it out. Just say the question. They don't need a whole explanation of like what I'm like trying to ask the question, but like also give them options for answers. And I'm like, no, just say what you need to say.
No, I mean, as someone who's very wordy, I'm okay with it. I love that. I say it's better to have more information than none at all, right?
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Oh, my people. Oh, goodness. Okay, Rowan, how are you? Today we're filming this on release day. How's your day been so far?
It's been incredible. I honestly if I'm a little chaotic, that's because I am today. Like I'm feeling all the feels. Like having two books out into the world is insane to me. And it really proves to myself that like I'm serious about this and I want to keep going and writing as much as I can. And it's overwhelming. And all the support and love that everyone is showing me is just like, it means so much more than people know. So yes. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Oh, well, just backing it up a little bit. It's been a few months since we talked. Like, what have you been up to? I'm sure just like essentially preparing for today.
Yeah, it's all today's the day. It's the top of the mountain. I've been busy writing my little butt off. The first book, I think we talked about this last time, took me about 1.5 years to write, and this one took me 4 months because I transitioned out of my old career that I had been at for 15 plus years, which I loved, but like writing is my passion now, and I just wanted to focus on that. And so that's what I've been doing. And I'm really trying to get each book out in 4 to 6 months for this series. So people don't have to wait over 1 year. And yeah, that's my goal. So that is seriously just consuming my life. My husband's like, where are you? You know where I am. I'm at my computer.
I am busy.
I'm busy. So yeah.
Wow. That is crazy and also just cool and congratulations.
Yeah.
What are some of the differences that you've noticed between writing book 1 and writing book 2, even outside of here I go with my examples. Let me give you some examples.
Please, let me hear them.
Outside of like the time difference, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the first book, I think part of that took so long for me to write. Well, one, because I was with my other career full time, and that was very time consuming. But largely, it also was because I was learning how to navigate like the bookish community and like building teams and publishing because I'm doing it all myself. And so now that I have those core things in place, this book, I was able to concentrate a little bit more on writing. So that was the biggest thing for me, definitely.
Awesome. And then as far as like the actual writing aspect, I'm just curious what that was like. Was the story still pretty I like when authors explain how it just like comes to them and they're like, and I just write, and I'm like, that is amazing. Did it just flow like you knew you know where it's going and what people were doing, or
Oh no.
okay.
No, no. I think it just depends on the day,
Yeah,
right? So I
yeah.
have like the big plot points I want to hit for this
Right.
entire series, which initially, I think when we last spoke, I was like, it'll be 3 or 4 books, but
Yeah.
now it'll be 7 to 9 books. But let me preface that by saying it'll be 3 interconnected trilogies or duets.
Okay.
So each one will focus on a different couple. Because although I love those series where it's like 7 books of the same person, I thought this was more fun and giving more attention to side characters that people really love and having their own happily ever after.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I lost the plot on your question.
No.
No, I have the big plot points. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Rewind, back it up. And some days I'm like, I'm so stuck right now, but then other days it's just like
Yeah.
10,000 words. I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
Right.
So I do let the characters kind of carry me when they want to, and that seems to work really well for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm enjoying the trend that I've heard more and more authors talking about that, about exploring other characters within their world. And I agree. I love long series, and just like TV shows, anything past season 3, I'm like, we've
Yeah.
been here, we've done it. I love you guys. I love the show. And there's just something about my brain that's like, okay, great. So what? They're going to
Yeah.
overcome all the odds, and then something else is going to pop up. Like
Right.
there becomes a format that you kind of start to get.
Right. Yeah, I think like doing different couples that maybe people just really were curious about or love or even hate, like
Yeah.
that keeps it a little fresh for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I would love to dive in to the book, specifically book 2. Just to start, I know I'm assuming are you already working on book 3?
Yeah. I finished the prologue in chapter 1.
Okay.
And then actually yesterday, because I had all this like nervous energy because
Yeah.
today's release day, I randomly wrote my first, because so the second trilogy or duet will be a Why Choose, which is new to me. And so I wrote my first spicy Why Choose scene for that, and I don't even know where that story is going, but that's what I felt like writing. So
I love that. I love you're like, this is the
yeah,
one today.
this is the one. I should be working on book 3, but let's work on this random scene. It's fine. Whatever.
Who are you to fight what your brain wants to produce?
Right. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I like to ask because now that I do these interviews more often, I have an awareness that an author's brain is usually ahead and they're jumping back to discuss like specific books and stuff like that. But can you give us a little overview on essentially where book 1 left us and kind of the what book 2 covers as a continuation of the story?
Yeah, for sure. So in book 1, there was a big cliffhanger and a couple just unanswered questions.
Mhm.
And the main character, Seryn, was left with a journey that she had to go on because she was being chased by some villains. And she is on that journey in book 2. It begins right where we left off with her best friend's brother, Gavrel, and they need to find their loved ones and figure out what is going on with her powers. And so they are doing a lot of journeying throughout the mortal realm in this book.
Mhm.
In the first book, you had a little bit of that, but you were largely in that dream realm, Sorelia.
Yeah.
So this book, you get to see a lot more of the different regions of the mortal realm. And so she's learning about her powers, and there's like different relationships building and some characters that we maybe thought were gone come back in the second book. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. And disclaimer, obviously this is the second book, so ideally if you're watching this, you should have read and watched the first episode first, you can pause, go to that one, then you can come back. And as always, if you watch this, you know that we have a full spoiler discussion. We're not holding back anything because that is what makes the discussion fun. So I would love to know, just starting out, what was your favorite scene to write in book 2 and also your most challenging?
Oh my goodness. My brain is mush. So some of my my favorite scenes to write are the ones that are super emotional.
Mm.
Um, and so let's see, in the second book, there is a scene where they find, well, you said there was going to be spoilers, so here we
Yes.
go. They find Caden, and he is trapped and has been essentially living in his nightmare repeatedly since the first book when he disappeared. And um, that was just a really fun scene to write because there's some different like creatures introduced and just the whole vibe of that space and that like Stygian Merc prison. I thought it was just really fun and like the journey to get
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
it was very visceral. Like there's just a lot of like feelings. Like I'm trying to make the reader feel like their struggle and their journey, like walking through that space. And I just think
Mhm.
that was really fun to write. Um, Let me see. My most challenging to scene to write, I think I did find it challenging because I'm writing Caden in a way that shows, and even in the first book, that he's a man child. Like he has a lot of growing to do,
Yeah.
and so it's like a very fine balance. Like I want him to be likable, but also people to not like him
Yeah.
because eventually he needs to have his own like growth arc.
Mhm.
And so I don't want to rush that, but I also don't want it to like linger on for too long. So having that fine balance
Right.
between those two worlds has been challenging. I hope I pulled it off, but I don't know. Just he'll have some growth, I swear.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say the Stygian Mark and all the nightmares and stuff. That is one, like if this were to be made into a movie, that is the one scene that I would love to see how that
Yeah.
gets created because that was really cool how I made it in my brain. I don't know how accurate it is. Sometimes I like to take my own artistic interpretation,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
love writing like the dream and the nightmare realms because like
yeah,
honestly the possibilities are endless.
yeah.
Like I'm so excited for the third book because now we get to like dive into different realms that we
Oh
haven't seen.
yeah. Yeah,
So yeah.
that's really cool. That's really cool. And also, I see exactly what you mean about Caden. It is interesting following his saltiness, and understandably, it is an awkward situation. No one wants to be stuck in, and here they are all adventuring together, and like to see.
Right.
He's been gone for a while, and he's like, "Yeah, go, brother, have fun, enjoy, I guess."
Have fun with
Yeah.
my best friend.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm excited for that moment too of like that growth, and
Yeah.
I can see how that will be very refreshing as well.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he can't stay unlikable forever because
Right,
he's not a bad he's a very good guy, but he has a
right.
lot of rage, you know? So
Exactly, exactly. That makes sense. Adding on to just like characters in general, two that I noted that I absolutely love, and it's probably no surprise, I would say most people probably love them, is Yaya and Breena. And I love the very outspoken, I admire anyone who can just say things because it's so funny. And you still love them for who they are. As someone
right.
who overthinks way too much and would not say the things, I enjoy them immensely. So I would love to just know a little bit more about you creating them, what it's like writing characters like them, where it's just kind of stuff just pours out of their mouth, and you're like, okay,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I loved it. I loved writing the chapter called It's Yaya is the chapter title. And
mhm,
just she's just such a whirlwind, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And she reminds me of so many like strong minded and willed women that I've met in my life. And I just admire that so much that I'm just really happy that the characters
mhm,
have her. Um, I met her and that she is just such a good like role model as you know, this feminine, powerful energy. And Breena, I feel like a lot of people love Breena, and I love writing her. Like sometimes I look back at what I made her say, and I was like, did I say that? Like it's just like she's so wild. She's the person like says what everybody's thinking or not, you know, but she doesn't care. She's just like, I'm me, and you know, don't be a baby. Like, let's do this.
Yeah. It's just the light loving taunts that come out. You're like, yeah.
I think that's what I should like keep a notebook of all her insults because like they're so funny.
Yes. Please do.
Oh my god. Yeah, and I think it was more, I still am kind of like this, but when I was younger, I was more so like one of those people who maybe stuck my foot in my mouth a lot because like sense of humor is really important to me in my personal life. And sometimes that rubs people the wrong way, but also some people do appreciate that. And I think that's why Breena is so loved, you know. So
yeah, absolutely. Have you seen The Princess Frog by chance?
I don't think I have. No.
Or like with Tiana and all them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I told you my brain is mush today.
You're good. Yaya makes me think of like Mama Odie. Like they're in the swamp, like almost Louisiana-esque of just this like magic elder woman that just like knows, and she just says stuff and like you know it's true, but you're just trying to like you're trying to keep up.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to figure it out. Yeah, very much.
That is the perfect way to put that. You're just trying to keep up. Like
yeah.
Yes, it's perfect.
Exactly. I love characters like that just like they know, they have the context, so they're saying things and everyone else is like, what?
Can I be on this ride with you? Like
no, absolutely. I'm curious too because I did notice the like even like the curses give off a very British vibe. Is that something that you intentionally, or you were just like, I like it? Or
I think it's a little bit of both. I just love in general different cultures and accents, and I just think like when like British humor and insults are so like it's kind of like bless your heart. Like it's nice, but it's like, oh man, I think I just got burned. And so I love that about that culture. And so yeah, but when I do picture like, for example, Breena has an accent, like she's from New Mali City, but so the South. And so I picture her having like a Cockney accent, you know, in my head when I'm writing her, as well as like Rhaegar, but his would be more like proper, like the Queen's English, you know? So yeah, that's intentional. And also it's not like I don't outright say this is like a medieval kind of time, but it kind of is, right? So I just feel like that older kind of language fits a little better sometimes.
Yeah. I know. She calls someone a twat at some point.
Oh yeah. I love it. That is like one of my favorite insults. I love it so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So I would also love to know just how you went about creating this world, like having a system with the fates, and then also we have the, excuse my pronunciation of any of these, but like Pyrian and Hadron and like the different types. How did that all come together?
Yeah, so a huge influence for me and something I've always been curious and interested about is like Greek mythology. And so a lot of actually, I don't want to say all because I'm sure I missed one, but a lot of the names of places or people have meaning to them. So, and not necessarily Greek mythology, but just in general have meaning. So, for example, like Seryn means, I think it means star in Welsh. So stuff like that. And her nickname is Little Star, and there's, you know, meaning behind that. But as far as the places, it's a lot of Greek mythology. There's some like Celtic mythology in there, very loosely based, of course, but that's kind of where I've gotten the vibes and the feel of places.
Yeah.
And just in general, like I just have always been so drawn to like dream type things and what dreams mean, and I think that's fun. So being able to create these fantastical worlds and realms is just so rewarding.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. Bonus points, like I love a good nickname. That always gets me excited, and I love nicknames that make sense. Like that's always a thing. I don't know if you've seen the posts that are going around, and it's usually like a carousel, and it's like, you look happier, and it's like, well, yeah, the enemies just became lovers. And I was thinking of making one of those of like, I'm busy, I can't talk right now, of like, because the enemies just became lovers or whatever. And one of them was like, he just gave her a nickname. And I love how you're like, no, she's gonna get like 10 nicknames.
Yeah. Well, because it's personal. It's based on like each person and relationship you have. So
right. No, I love it. I love it. And that's, I think that's the exciting thing too, is to go on this journey of series, and especially just being able to talk to the author and getting this kind of deeper look, is like, I feel like I'm getting a behind the scenes, and I'm getting even like that much closer to all of the characters, and I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like her dynamic with Breena, and versus with Gavrel and all of that. And so yeah, absolutely. Okay. The augur. Let's talk about her. Her position in the story and how it all starts to come together. Do you want to just talk a little bit about her presence in the book, and what that brings about and starts triggering?
Yeah. No, I mean, she's kind of like that, like Yoda figure. I mean, and they're in the swamp. So I was like, that's kind of fun because, I love Star Wars. But just having that kind of like mentor, mysterious figure is very fun to write. And it's so needed because like we needed the story to propel forward, and someone needed to like help Seryn like learn her powers, you know what I mean, and like unlock that. So yeah, and she obviously has a huge role to play. I mean, I can do spoilers because okay, fine. So
go for it.
So as readers learn, by the end of this book, she is Phantasos, the god or the ancient of illusions. And Seryn's met her in several different forms because her form and face shift. So she met her in the first book as a young girl who gave her that ring that transports her, and then she meets her as a seer in Hydra, and then obviously the augur. So she's a very huge part. I really like her character because she's neither, and this will continue throughout the series, she's neither like good nor evil. Like she's just following and making sure that the course that the fates have set, stays in place and everyone's on the right track. So yes, you'll definitely be seeing more of her.
Exciting. I love it.
Sorry, that was long-winded, but she's really fun to write. So
yeah. Awesome. Okay, I would love to talk more about Seryn and Gavrel and their relationship and how it changes, because obviously she gets all of her memories back, and we kind of get more of the backstory of what had happened a few years previous and how that got shut down. And that was like one of those moments where she's like, well, you already closed that door, and I was like, but he's protecting you. Just understand.
I love it. Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how their relationship changes? It's very much at the beginning, he's trying to give her the space, and obviously when you're traveling together, there's very little space to be had.
Like what else are you gonna do but build some feelings?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love their journey. I think for people who have only read the first book and who really liked Gavril, because he didn't have like huge roles in it per se. Like he was just kind of like, he was there, and broody. But I like the journey that Seryn had to go on, and him, with her like working through the memories that she regained, and just sifting through all that, and like the deep like guilt she felt for having a relationship with both him and Caden. But then also not apologizing for being in either relationship. You know, she's sorry that she hurt Caden, but doesn't regret like their short time together because she does care about him, and that's what she wanted at the time. So anyway, but I do like that the journey that they go on, and I really love the moment Gavrel's like, okay, I've given her space, but now we need to try a new path, like a new tactic here.
Yeah.
So she starts like moving forward, and I just love that, you know.
Yeah.
And just like the angst, like if I really sat down and think about it, like this man has been giving her space and just like letting her choose her life and who she loves
Yeah.
for like their whole time knowing each other and just secretly pining and like you know feeling all this pain but like carrying that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, oh I love it so much.
I know, and I appreciate that so much. I don't think I've seen that in books often, potentially, if ever. Like, I feel like in instances where a relationship didn't work out, it ends very badly. And then when she ends up with the, you know, whoever it's intended, the other is like, that's ended terribly and there's no coming back from that type thing. So I can really appreciate the realism as much as I love a good like oh and they are the thing is the funny thing is we find out they are fated mates, or, you know, they have the bond essentially, and so like I love that, and I love this energy of like this one person that's going to be so for you,
Yeah,
and stringing it to reality. I think
right.
it's very refreshing and admirable to read a situation. And I know we talked about this last time of like, hey, we tried this out and it didn't work and that sucks.
Yeah.
But like, how do we move on from that? In the real world, you're not just gonna like, I don't know, like duel or battle or curse each other. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I do love I love the whole concept of like in Greek mythology, the twin flame, like your other half, you know, and when you join, you're a whole. And I just love that idea so much. But I wanted to make it clear, like, just because you are fated doesn't mean you have to be with your mate. And it's not like this uncontrollable thing that like makes you want to be with them, because your mate could be, your fated could be a horrible person like Melina's, you know, that she murdered. So I don't know why I just laughed at murder. Oh my God. What's wrong with you?
She murdered.
She murdered him. But no, but that anyway, but her backstory is like her fated mate was horrible and made her who she is today. So
yeah.
anyways, yeah, I love that concept. And I do enjoy a good like mate and fate kind of story, but I like the idea of having a choice even more.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely appreciate that. I wrote down they were having one, I'd like to acknowledge my iPhone changing Seryn to Serum. Uh, Secondly, they're having this like really touching moment when they're in Australia, which we'll talk about in just a second. But they're oh no, this must have been right before they got there. They're on the way. They're almost there, and they're having this really touching moment, and I love my reaction of just like, because she said something along the lines of like, would you hunt me if I ran? And they're having a very touching, serious moment, going through all of like the serious things that they've encountered over the past few years, and my little smutty brain was like, ooh.
You're like,
not the moment they were having at all. I just had to bring that up because I was like,
you're like, hello, maybe book 3, we don't know.
Well, we'll never know. But yes, that different tone of a conversation. So when you get to that part, if you're reading the book, but no, and I love what it grows into, kind of just like fast forwarding to after they get to Australia, and again she gets the news that they actually do have that courted bond, but he had to block it, chose to block it. and like all of that pain and everything. And when they finally came together and he like stops her for a moment and he's like, this is the moment. If we keep going, like this is what's
I know.
that. I love
that. When I was writing it, I was like kicking my feet. I was like, oh man, I love it.
Yeah, no, that's basically what I was doing in bed. That's the moment where you sit up and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, there's no going, I mean, there's always going back in the real world, but like it's all been building to this, so yeah, good moment.
You don't come back from that kind of connection. I think even if things happen and things move on, like you are changed forever by that. Yeah.
Right. They meet this couple, Keithan and Eli's, at the Moonbud Revelry, and they are like a faded Corda pair that is a wonderful example, like when it works out, right? And they love each other. And I wanted to like make sure that these characters showed that, because there's good and bad when you, depending on who your mated is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch my train of thought here.
All good.
Oh my god. Yeah, cut this out. Anyway, but they basically say like you can have this connection, this Corda bond, and it's like lingering there in the background. But yes, if you do accept it and you like bring that within you, it's like there, like clasps on that cord that tethers your like ribs together is there. So even if you did part, I mean, you could, but it'll be even that much more painful because now you recognize it and you accept it. You know what I mean? And once they go through the kaleo ceremony, any fated pair, it'll be like unbelievably painful if they did separate, because then you're really, I'm excited because I'm trying to figure out like what that kaleo ceremony looks like, because that's obviously gonna like be important to the story. So I've been having a lot of fun trying to do research for that. Anyway, random thought. Tangent.
Excited for that. Yeah. And I mean, even that brings to mind later in the book when they're, when she's attempting to talk it out with Caden and he brings up the fact of like, and if you guys get together, like I have a very real chance of losing both of you at the same time and I'm alone in that part. Oh, that made me want to give him a hug.
I know. And I think that was so important to his like arc, because we need to know like he's not just like this selfish, jealous, piece of crap. Like he's genuinely really scarred from all the loss in his life. And that's a true terrifying thing for him, that he would lose both of the people he loves most in the world,
Yeah,
so
for sure. So they just kind of jumping around, and we touched on the Stygian mark just a bit, and the whole saving Caden, and I think for me from like then on is when I was like hooked. There's always a tipping point in a book where I'm like, the rest of my life ceased to exist until I figure out what's happening here. For just a minute, I'm just gonna put my life on pause, figure out what's happening, because they end up in Cerealia and they kind of get this whole like, you have basically about a month before this becomes problematic in this plane because they are in their physical bodies. And you touched on the ceremony there, the little like festival, I forget the name of it. That seemed really cool. I was like, I would love to go to that.
So in Cerealia, I mean, and in the Perilous Bogs, because that's what the Moonbud Revelry is all about. Is the celebration of the Ancient of Moon, which is Selene. And it's just such a beautiful like little side thing in the book. Like I really wanted to show this different culture that's in Aion, which I don't know why I named it that, because it's like such a mouthful, but that, why? Because it means Eon in Greek, and that's why I did that. But so yeah, that was fun. And was it last year? Last year, my husband and I and some friends did a tour through Italy. And so I pulled a lot of the things I saw and experienced there in the history, like for writing Ian. So that was fun.
Yeah. And how Gavril unknowingly just has a casual little conversation with her as well. And I love the train of thought that's like, if all of these big players are all of a sudden here, like that's maybe not a great sign. Something's happening.
Like they're just coming out of the woodworks, all these like ancients. They're like, wait a minute. And I like the idea that they are this like celestial being, and you could maybe potentially not know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of walking around and you have no idea.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, we're like getting towards, the final battle, as I like to call them, or kind of when the things start speeding up. And I'd like to pause and touch on Melina. She's not even in my notes. I did not. Every time she shows up, I'm like, damn it. Just go away.
Like, get out of here.
You just talk to her story a little bit more and maybe like her motives. I think my just genuine dislike of her kind of just blocks out everything that's like going on with her.
Yeah. She is a character that everybody hates, and rightly so. But I do love like digging deeper and figuring out like what happened to you to make you the way you are, because it's been hinted at again that she murdered her Corda because he was very like violent and abusive, and basically kind of twisted her into who she is now. And I think I just wanted it to come across that like these horrible, horrible things happened to her to the point where it did break her. And now this is who she is. And the only way she's going to feel like she has any power is to be in control in a very gruesome way. And so I don't know, like Melina, I don't think anybody's too far gone when they've experienced trauma. I think there can always be healing and like transformation. But for her, I think her mind is simply too broken. And that could change. I don't know. I've toyed with writing like her little like side story of like who she is, but that would be difficult for me because of course I love romance and I want there to be a happy ending. And so, for her, it's not. So I'm not sure if that'll happen. But she is fascinating to me. But yeah, she is, her motivations are just like pure, like raw emotion. Like she sees something she wants and that's hers, and if you try to take it away from me, you're so screwed. She's like obsessed with Gavril, right? And she's obsessed with finding scions because she needs to live forever. She needs to have the power and be in control. And I think she is so obsessed with Gavril because he's one of the people she can't break into his mind, and that probably drives her nuts. So
yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's one of the more valuable aspects that books taught me, kind of just with my own upbringing. I think when you're younger and trying to make sense of the world, it's easier to filter things into groups. So good and bad is a very black and white concept until you start seeing all the shades of gray. And that's a brilliant thing that books give you access to. I was actually just talking in the last episode that I filmed, and I brought up one of the things that I really appreciate about Sarah J. Maas is that she is really great at writing a female character that people hate until they get their backstory. And once they get the backstory, you're like, oh my gosh, this person is carrying all this weight. So it's very much one of those two things can be true at once. And it's like, to understand the hurt is exactly what you said of like, what has happened to make this person this way. And I can also see exactly what you mean too about the idea of like a redemption arc. And I think in a realm where there's even like access to magic, it kind of almost like ups the ante on how twisted things can start to get. Like that's a whole nother level of power when you can physically change and affect other people.
Right. And her power is so harmful. Like she can do whatever she wants to her victims and then erase it and just keep doing it and doing it. But like even though she can erase people's minds or sift through their memories, I mean that leaves us I in my head I'm like that still leaves some sort of mark or scar. So maybe they have this feeling of unease or trauma, but they don't know why. And I think that's even worse, you know? So yeah, she's truly a horrible villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what have I done? No, I'm geez, yeah, she's bad.
No, I feel that. And because like I understand that's part of why I really wanted to like genuinely ask the question. Because I think anytime she pops up in the book, I'm like, no, take her away. I don't want to learn anymore.
Yeah. I hope the little nuggets about like why she is the way she is have come through because you're right, like I want her to have depth even though you like readers hate her.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to just because she's evil. Like that's not there's reasons behind that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. And I think on a side note, speaking of like characters and redemption, so that's why I'm really excited about Kaden because I really want him to, you know, have redemption and some other characters as well. So like at the end of this book, our mid book, you meet Kaylora Ondine, who she was a blip in the first book. Like she was the one with like the purple ember at the end, the arena. And at the end of this book, spoiler, you find out she's a traitor. And so, you know, I'm really looking forward to writing some different types of paths because Seryn and Gavrel and like Breena, I feel like they're already likable. But I think it's more fun to write unlikable characters. But like you said with Sarah J. Maas, like, oh, wait, I do like them because now I understand why.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going on tangents.
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah, okay, so then just kind of progressing towards the end, as always, a lot happens. Wherever you'd like to pick it up and kind of walk us through those last few bits and where things end up essentially.
Oh, so the two cliffhangers.
Yeah, very casual.
Just why do one when you can do two? It's fine. I was gonna actually initially I didn't have so okay, so it ends up you find out that Seryn's real father is Morpheus, the Ancient of Dreams, which you know would explain a lot, but also presents many questions.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited to unfold. But I was actually going to end it there, but then I was thinking like if I don't write this epilogue, people might literally come for me thinking Gavril could die, you know, and because you don't know what happened to him. And I was like, I don't want to be that cruel. I like being a little cruel, but not that cruel.
I appreciate that.
So you find that out, and then the epilogue is, of course, Gavril has been portaled to the Nether Void, which I just love. I love it because he didn't ever say "I love you," but how he says "I love you" is to the Nether Void and beyond, and now he's there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy, and I just am obsessed with that. So yeah, I'm just really excited to explore that because all of these realms that I'm introducing are going to be important throughout the rest of the series. And I'm just really looking forward to building the Nether Void for people.
Yeah. That was definitely jaw-dropping moment number one is when him and Melina just boop, and you're like, and I had that moment where I was like, no, he's not gone.
No.
No.
Why?
would not after everything they've just been through.
I was like, we need an epilogue to soften the blow.
Very much appreciate that. And then, yeah, that was jaw-dropping moment number 2 when he was casually like, "Daughter," and I was like, "Excuse me?"
What? Yeah.
Very
No, for sure.
casual of you, Dad.
Oh, for sure. When I first had this, the idea for this series, that is one of like within the first 5 thoughts I had was that I would end book 2 on daughter. Like I knew that. I knew that was gonna happen because I wanted that to be a little surprise. But oh yeah, I forgot the second cliffhanger is that somebody is in the nether void that knows Gavril. That was the second one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I love giving myself the absolute bare minimum context. So I have daughter exclamation, Gavril question mark, and I was like, what was that second one? Why did I put that there?
Yeah, yeah. I won't give that one away because nobody knows except
Perfect.
for me. So
Yeah,
yeah,
there you go. There you go. Yeah. No, very exciting the way that you set it up because I'm like, oh, there's more,
yeah.
there's more. And then it's
Mhm.
cool too when the pieces start to come together. Um, it's funny because I think the more that I've started to read, the more I relax my grip on like trying to guess where things are going to go. I'm very much like now I'm just going to see. I'm not going to
Yes.
not even stress. I don't stress myself out about it. But I when, Gavril can't talk about what's going on
Oh,
and he's like there's
okay.
something more. Not
Yeah.
once was my
Mhm.
brain even guessing what that something more was. It wasn't until I got that where I was like, yeah, that makes sense, and
Yeah.
also, where was
Yeah.
my brain?
Right. And Gabriel doesn't even know what that means.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like he knows they're fated, but he doesn't know what the more means.
Right.
Oh, actually, that's a good segue. So in the ebook version and the Kindle unlimited
Mm,
version of book 2, there's two. I'm like calling them bonus
mhm,
memories, 2 bonus memories, so 2 chapters. Which I'm finding extremely fun because every time I bring up a memory or a tidbit of something that happened, I'm like, this is so cool because the series is all about memory manipulation and like I could just have endless little like memory blips and it would just be so cool. Anyway, I
mhm,
digress. But one of the bonus memories is related to the moment that Gabriel made the decision to accept the block in his chest. So that's kind of cool to see because it gives a little more insight of what happened with his mother and explaining, why he chose that.
mhm,
And then the second one is a memory of Seryn when she is a child. And in the first book, there's just like one little mention of it, or maybe
mhm,
two, where Melina's first erasing her memories, and she has like this flashback of her being, I think she's like 6 or 7 years old in the woods, and she's listening in on a conversation Hestia, the Larkin's mother, and her mother are having
mhm.
about scions and fate and everything like that. And it's just this like quick mention, like people maybe missed it, but in this book, that's that memory and like what she overheard. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like really cool information to have, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so definitely if, you want the bonus content, you can check that out for sure, for sure. Before we move on to just quickly touching on book 3, is there anything from book 2 that we haven't discussed that you are excited to bring up?
Oh, probably so many things. I think I don't know. I think it's fun if people read it the first time or do rereads because I try to throw little Easter eggs in every
Mhm.
book. So like even I went back and reread both of them and I was like, oh my, I'm like, good job, Rowan. You had a little Easter egg that I
You
forgot
did
about.
it.
Like good job, Stealth. But
Yeah.
no, there's just so many fun little like things that if you read it again, you'd be like, oh my God, that makes so much
Yeah.
sense. And that is just so freaking fun to
Yeah.
like realize. I don't know. So that's my
Yeah.
plug for that, but yeah.
I need to like figure out how to become some sort of immortal creature where I no longer need sleep, and then I can start to reread. It's been a little tough in the best way, but the way that I'm now reading books for like the podcast. So there was a group of you that all the first books came out, and now that the second ones are coming out, and so I'm not used to like jumping around in series so much, so I have to like sit myself down and be like, okay, brain, we know what's happening.
Right.
Catch you up to speed. And I would really love, I think once the series progress a little bit more, to find time to go back through and like read them one after the other where they're fresh, and like to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that, because I know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm trying to think what else. I think, writing, you didn't ask this, but I'm just gonna, I ramble. You can cut it out if you want. No, this one was really rewarding because it was that dual point of view. And I really loved being able to slip into Gavrel's mind instead of just Seryn's the whole time, like the first book was. It was very challenging because I was so like fixed in her brain, but I just love that. And I'm really looking forward to having more multiple point of view books moving forward. So for sure.
I've come a long way in my reader journey, where I used to not like any sort of dual point of view. Like I just wanted to be in the main character, and now I'm really enjoying it as well, to be able to get into other people's minds, and especially when it comes to like any sort of like bond or mate situation. I think getting their point of view of their love and care and adoration, and just their thought process of what it means to them, also creates such a deeper sense of like, as a reader, knowing the depth of what's going on in this story.
For sure, for sure. I think too, like, because Seryn struggles with like panic attacks. It doesn't say that, but anxiety and like panic, and she does like a lot of work to try to like navigate that. And so you see like the breakdown of her mind sometimes, and like when she's experienced that, which I've experienced, so I really like writing that and processing that. And then her thoughts, like Gavrel or whoever might think I'm like crazy right now, blah blah blah. But then you see Gavrel's point of view, and he's just like, oh, she's going through this, like she's so strong, and she's it's just really neat to see that dichotomy of like their thought processes and views on things. So yeah,
for sure. Oh, all right. What can you tell us about book 3? Anything. No pressure.
I'm still working that out myself. I have the big plot points that I need to hit. And like I said, I'm through chapter 1, but like I mentioned before, I'm really excited to expand and explore the Nether Void. And I wanted to hit some of the other regions in the mortal realm, which I don't know, that might be more in the later trilogies or duets. Because there's already so much going on. But I'm most looking forward to that, and I don't want to give away who is in the Nether Void, but I'm really excited because they're going to have like this ragtag band of people that they've like grown and collected there. So some like adventures in there. So I'm really, really excited to expand on that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Cool. And then I know you mentioned you were kind of expecting 4 to 6-ish months, so we can maybe check back in around like late 2025, early 2026.
Yep. So my plan is to have the release day sometime in January. So it'll be done because I have to have it to my editor in November. So at least that's my hope and prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pressure. You got this.
No pressure. I did it to myself. It's fine. I like scheduled out through book 6 to the end of next year with my editor. So because I work fairly well under pressure. So I was like, well, let's just stress myself out. It's fine.
I am also the same way. Give me like a half day worth of stuff and I will waste the whole day. If I have a packed day, I will get so much done.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So
Yeah.
here we
Yeah.
go.
Well, thank you so much for joining me back for book 2. As always, super fun to just talk about it, all the thoughts that came up and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always a joy to talk to you. So thank you.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I will wait patiently for the next book and to see everything that's happening. We need
Yeah.
some more information.
Yay, I love it. Yeah, thank you.
Right. If you've made it to this point in the episode, thank you so much for watching. I'd be incredibly grateful if you showed some support either by following or subscribing, depending on what platform you're watching on, and leaving a comment. You can always follow me on Instagram at Busy Reading Romantasy or on TikTok at busy.reading.romantasy to see what I'm up to. You can also email me at busyreadingromantasy@gmail.com to tell me your thoughts, dreams, secrets, or if you just have any book and author suggestions you'd love me to cover. Grab yourself a good book, get cozy. I'll see you next Wednesday for a new episode.